Hey guys, welcome back to Indie Corner, the show where we discover new Nintendo indie games together. Before we talk about the latest announcements, let's first look at what's new on the 3DS and Wii U eShop in both North America and Europe.
If you're in North America, check out your Wii U eShop for these new titles. First, there's Adventures of Pip, a 2D platformer which has you changing your resolution to use different abilities. Play as a pixel, 8-bit or 16-bit version of Pip and stop the evil queen from destroying the world's resolution. Next, there's Cube Life, Island Survival, which offers you a blocky world to build anything you can imagine. Additionally, the game features a survival mode, which you must gather food to stay alive and build weaponry to fight off anything looking to eat you. For something more reflex and mind-oriented, there's Cube Blitz, a physics-based puzzle game. Gems and blocks of different materials fall into a room. The goal is to let the gems hit the floor and not allow the blocks to pile up above a certain line. Players can destroy blocks by tapping on them via the gamepad. Both territories received a port of Don't Starve Giant Edition. You play it as a stranded scientist who must learn how to survive using his newfound environment. While other platforms saw both Don't Starve and its expansion pack sold separately, the Giant Edition combines all the content into one package. Additionally, if you buy this game before June 28th, you'll get a free copy for a friend. For the European gamers, you now have access to High Strangeness, another game that changes its resolution on the fly. The game is an action RPG that has you exploring a world where you shift between 8-bit and 16-bit style graphics to overcome obstacles and challenges. On the 3DS side of the eShop, the North American gamers received AVGN Adventures and Glory of Generals: The Pacific. AVGN Adventures is a difficult 2D platformer starring the nerd from the hit online series The Angry Video Game Nerd. As for Glory of Generals, it's a turn-based strategy game set during World War II. You can choose to fight for the Axis or the Allies and build buildings, troops, and conquer the opposing forces. Now on to updates with some new screens from a very exciting racing game, Fast Racing Neo. While we don't have a new F-Zero game to look forward to, this might just be good enough to scratch that itch. The game has been announced as coming to the Wii U later this year. Antipole DX is another game we've talked about on the show before, but we never had some new footage to show off. Luckily, a new trailer has been released showing the remastered 2D platformer, showing off its gravity-based mechanics.
Now there's always some new Nintendo indie games to look forward to. Here's a few that I found over the past few weeks.
First up, we have Momonga Pinball coming to the Wii U. This isn't your average pinball game. Pinball tables are replaced with levels filled with enemies and flippers. You'll be guiding a flying squirrel to fight through the forces of evil one flick at a time. Next, I was very excited to hear that Xeodrifter was confirmed for the Wii U on our latest Class vs. Craft podcast. Xeodrifter is a Metroidvania that was exclusively for the 3DS and Steam previously. Wii U owners will now be able to experience the charming retro space adventure on the big screen. This next one by Wii Man Studio looks stunning. Life Speed, which is coming to the 3DS, is a futuristic flying racing game. The game is said to have 11 playable characters, a story mode, and online leaderboards. Unfortunately, I don't have any gameplay footage today, but next week I'll be meeting with the team at E3 and hopefully we'll get something to show you guys. Heads up Castlevania fans for Bloodstained, which was successfully kickstarted and heading to the Wii U. Legendary game designer Koji Igarashi, best known for his work on the Castlevania series, is helming the project. Bloodstained is a side-scrolling discovery adventure game which will feature RPG and crafting elements. Next is the 90s toy-inspired racing game Action Hank, which is coming to the Wii U. Run, jump, and butt slide your way to victory against other 90s toy figures. The game features over 70 levels to race on, as well as a full-fledged level editor that lets you create anything you want. There's also Near-Earth Objects, or NEO for short, which is coming to the Wii U. This Neo arcade shooter pays tribute to the classics in the genre. The game boasts over 100 levels to play, along with an Euro rave soundtrack. A new JRPG titled Project Light is heading to the Wii U. The project, being developed by NecoWorks, features a 3D underworld steampunk land ruled by a fierce empire. The combat system is turn-based and battles are done directly on the field without transitioning to a separate combat screen. Lastly, there's Extreme Exorcism coming to the Wii U. The game has you hunting down ghosts with over 20 weapons in a retro bit style world. The longer you survive against the ghosts, the more extreme they become. The unique mechanic is that the ghosts will mimic your every move, so be careful how you step. I don't have any crowdfunding projects on my radar this week, so let's dive straight into our Enthusiast indie reviews. Going back a ways, we reviewed Bubblegum Popper, which wasn't too well received. While the game had some interesting concepts, the gameplay was boring and the presentation was dull. The shooter, Ultratron, was given a really good score by Jonathan. The gameplay is fantastic with great visuals, simple controls, and offers a good challenge. Its main flaw was that there was just too many effects, making it hard to see what was happening. Pazaru for the 3DS was equally well received. It also features simple controls and great puzzle gameplay. Our only complaint is that the visuals and music left something to be desired. We were also able to review High Strangeness, which received a good score. The soundtrack was amazing and the game offered some solid gameplay. Unfortunately, the story was a bit on the short side and, as Sean puts it, felt a bit drab. Swords and Soldiers 2 also got placed under a microscope and was received to a great score. Aside from being a bit frustrating and not having any online mode, the game shined everywhere else. There's lots of content, fantastic gameplay, wonderful graphics and music, and a charming presentation. Our review for Blue Kid 2 on the 3DS received good scores for its great level design and solid presentation. Unfortunately, the small screen can lead to unfair moments and the overall game just feels uncreative. There was also Journey of a Special Average Balloon, which wasn't too well received. The game had repetitive music, frustrating moments, and boring gameplay. Its main redeeming factors were its several modes. Eric was recently busy reviewing Johnny Dynamite for the 3DS and gave it a mediocre score. The game had little challenge and mediocre level design. On the plus side, it features a good level editor. Lastly, I dived back into the review scene to review Adventures of Pip, which scored well. Aside from some occasional control hiccups and an underutilized story and setting, I love the game's unique platforming mechanics. The game also features a wonderful soundtrack and beautiful graphics.
Now you're all up to date on all your Nintendo indie news for June 11th, 2015. If you're new to the show, remember we do have an Indie Corner shop where you can buy cool shirts like this at chopshopgoods.com. You can also support your favorite indie games by buying shirts with their specific indie logo. Currently we have Armillo in the indie shop as well as Zeo Drifter by Renegade Kid. And if you want, you can also get an Indie Corner shirt with this nice logo on it, and you can also get some Nintendo Enthusiast shirts. If you want to get that link directly, you can find it in the description below. And remember, every time you buy an indie shirt, the profits go straight to the indie developer, so none of that goes to me, except $1, because I gotta take a cut. So next week is actually E3, and I'll be there live trying to bring as much Nintendo news, indie news, anything I can straight to you guys. What I'm most excited about is, since I'll be in California already, I'm actually going to be visiting WayForward Studios, the developers behind Shantae. So I'll be maybe getting some news from them. I'm not sure. We're going to be covering a lot of Half Genie Hero news, so stay tuned for that. Also, we're going to be doing some live sessions between Sean and myself, where I'll be reporting hopefully live from the Nintendo World Championships. So do keep it to Nintendo Enthusiasts. This channel right here, do subscribe to it. We're going to bring you a lot of exclusives and a lot of good stuff straight from the show floor. I'll see you guys next week, and until then, keep on playing indie.